Hello and welcome to The Final Light. I'm your host, Soumya Singh. Tonight's story is the continuation of the last video. It was about Bilikis Bano. We talked about her case in the last video and how she was attacked when she was fleeing her city in Gujarat during the riot that happened in 2002. She was attacked and raped and then left for dead, but her grace and her confidence and just will to live made her the story that she is today. She is just exceptional in this case and in real life, and I believe that we all would be able to learn something from her case. So I won't be able to recap everything in this video, but I would want you to watch that and see her story and then come back to this video because this video will not make sense. But just where we left off, CBI found out that there were corruption in the police force. There were political parties involved, not political parties, but politicians involved in the riot who had derailed the investigation, and there were many flawed things planted in the evidence. So they had to start everything from scratch. In the last video, as I told you, there was the mass grave that they had. Somebody had mixed other bodies with those bodies to derail the investigation. The CBI used osteological analysis to identify the fracture consistent with the trauma wound that was found in everybody who they attacked that day. Skull fractures and just blunt force trauma. Soil samples was collected as well that matched for human blood traces. CBI reconstructed each and every timeline. There were call recordings and people called each other about the riot and when to start it, and few people targeted Bilkis's family and they targeted everybody in the family. The CBI got witness statements because there were few witnesses there as well who wanted to come out, but it was hard to take Bilikis Bano's side because the politicians, the influential people who were involved in the riot were after those witnesses. Just because of these reasons, many of the witnesses didn't come out for this case because they didn't want anything to do with this case. They didn't want anything to happen to them or their family. The CBI went through each and every file that the police had taken, and they have went through the witness reports that the police have filed and the recollection of the police as well and their statements, but it was very inconsistent with the witness statement. So they wrote down that there were only 6 members who were involved in a riot, and there were no mention of 20 accused that Bilkis Bano herself made to the police. She made the statement. She gave each and every evidence, and I cannot imagine how she went through that at that time. It must be hard for her to do that, to go through something like sexual assault and after that going through with the rape kit. I don't know how she did that. She is so brave. Her courage is truly noted in this podcast. I cannot imagine what she went through. So, after this, there were a few details that the CBI went through, like vehicle movements, vehicle logs that they got from the car, and everything they did, they found some kind of inconsistency with the report that the police filed. And again, like, I don't understand why. I do understand why because politicians were involved, but like, how can they sleep at night? Seriously. So, for the first time in this case, the witness protection was done in this case. Before that, there was no protection. So, many of the witnesses didn't feel safe to come out and to talk about this. But after some time, when the CBI was involved, they assured everybody that they will be safe. They were put in a safe house so that for some time, so that they could talk about this. Their identities were private so that nobody will know who they were. The trial started in January 2008, and the Supreme Court moved the trial from Gujarat to Maharashtra because witnesses and the families were feeling intimidated by the influential people who were involved in the case. Just to be safe, they were put in the safe house. The trial went smoothly. 11 men were convicted for rape and murder out of the 20 men who were involved. With them as well, three police officers were convicted for tampering with the evidence, and a doctor was also convicted for falsifying examination reports. It was one of the few cases from Gujarat riots where sexual violence was proven in the court. And this is so sad for other people and the other families who were harmed in this riot, and other people who died, and we will never know their story ever. There is no way we can convict their killers or their family members, but I hope that this type of violence doesn't occur ever. But it's just a wishful thinking. Sometimes in this case, I don't know what to say. But this is a very real case. This happened to real people, and we have to keep that in mind while listening to the story, because everybody deserves justice, and especially Bilikis Bano and her family. And it was very, very empowering to hear her story. But we have to go through each and every people who were accused and their sentencing. So let's go ahead with that. One of those persons were Shailesh Bhatt, and he was one of the main attackers, the primary attackers. He was the son of the village leader, and he was directly involved in Bilikis Bano's case and sexual assault. Radhesham Shah was the local politician. He was considered the leader among the attackers who were rioting that day. He was primarily accused for Bilkis Bano's gang rape. Govind Bhai Nai. He was a local villager who joined the mob and was involved in the murder of Bilkis's family. And then there was Prakash Mali, and he was a farmer in Radhikpur, and he participated in both sexual assault and killing. The fifth person was Jashwant Nai, and he was a local resident that helped to identify the fleeing of Muslim families to the mob, and he was the person who killed Bilkis's daughter, Shaleha. He was the main accused in that murder, and he killed a 3-year-old child. A child. He murdered a child. It doesn't matter if he was not involved in other things. He saw it and he killed a 3-year-old. I don't know how these people exist. Then there is Kesar Chand, and he was a known villager, and he was well known in Bilkis family. He knew everybody from Bilkis's family. He was a political worker, and he played an active role in assault the women in the group. He assaulted each and every one of them like a monster he is. Then there is Jethabhai Patel. He was influential villager, and he encouraged the mob for violence. He wanted everybody to take part in something, either the killing or rioting or chasing them or holding them so they cannot leave. Participated in killing, but he did not participate in the rape. The eighth person was Bipin Chandra Joshi, and he was a school teacher. He just joined the mob and took part in sexual assault in the whole group, and he assaulted everybody. Then there is Raju Bhai. This person is a local political figure. He helped to gather the attackers, and he was directly involved in planning and enabling the attack. Then the 10th person was Mitish Bhatt. He was from the same village area from Bilkis, and he took part in sexual violence and murder. The 11th person who was accused was Ramesh Chandna, and he was a local resident that took part in the mob and the attack for the Bilkis's family. He was directly involved in physical assault as well as in killing as well. If we talk about the sentencing, Radhe Sham Shah got life imprisonment, and he was mainly accused for the rape, if you remember. And then Shilesh Bhatt got life imprisonment, and he was the key attacker. He was the first one we talked about. He was the son of the village leader, so the mayor of the village. Then there was Govind Bhai Nai, and he got the life imprisonment as well for killing the family of Bilkis. And then there were Jaswant Nai. He was involved in life imprisonment, directly involved in Bilkis's daughter's killing. And then the Prakash Mali got life imprisonment, and he was the part of assaulting. Prakash Mali got for life imprisonment, and he took part in assaulting the mob. Kesar Chand got life imprisonment. He took participation in assault as well as the murder. And then Jethabhai Patel, he was involved in the conspiracy of basically the planning of the murder and the riot and the murder. And then there were Bipin Joshi. He got life imprisonment. He joined and assaulted. Then Mitesh Bhatt got life imprisonment for rape and murder involvement. And then there was Ramesh Chandna. He got life imprisonment. He was part of the killing. And then there was Raju Bhai. He got life imprisonment. He helped organize the mob, and he took part in killing as well. The court also convicted the police officers and a doctor who derailed the investigation. So the police officer P.P. Pandya got 3 years of imprisonment, and the head constable S.B. Indra got 3 years of imprisonment. And then the sub inspector Khastriya, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, he got 3 years of imprisonment as well. And then there were Dr. Shailesh Bhatt, the medical officer involved directly in this case, and he got 2 years for falsifying the evidence. He also fabricated forensic records and destroyed medical evidence against the accused. Now, if we talk about what happened to them, they were sentenced in 2008 for life imprisonment, but they were in August 2022. The 11 convicts were released early by the Gujarat government under a remission policy, and this made the country erupt. The images of convicts being garlanded and given sweets, being with the other politicians, and welcoming them to Gujarat made the country mad. It made the lawyers, activists, authors, and women rights groups want to come together and to fight for Bilikis Bano. Bilikis filed a complaint in Supreme Court and called it a betrayal of justice. There were many protests regarding this. How could how could a justice system let these monsters go? How can they let these people get out of the prison after doing this to so many people, after killing so many people, after killing a 3-year-old child. Then the Indian Supreme Court eventually cancelled the remission policy in 2024, ordering the men to get back to the prison. But they were out for 2 years, and I don't know how it must have felt for Bilkis around this time, how she was handling this. I don't know, but I hope that she finds peace, that they are back in prison. So before the Supreme Court filed the judgment, many people were angry and mad by this reaction and how people treat women. Women's organizations marched in Delhi, Mumbai, and Ahmedabad. Lawyers submitted multiple petitions challenging the remuneration. Academics from Harvard, Oxford, and JNU Ashoka issued the statement calling the remission as assault on basic human dignity. And the community across India performed a candle march for Bilkis and her daughter Sheila. This got international attention as well. Amnesty International and the Human Rights Watch issued details, reports, and the miscarriage of justice. Global newspapers covered her case as a symbol of institutional failure to protect women. The reaction of the nation was something like this. Somebody in Twitter wrote, "Imagine surviving all of that and then watching your rapist walked out smiling from the prison." This isn't about politics. This is about humanity, and humanity failed her. On Reddit, one user posted that I read her survivor statement today. I had to stop twice. No woman should ever have to hold these memories. Another wrote, the part that destroyed me was her daughter. I can't imagine the pain. And these reactions are not just online noises, they are heartbeat of our country. Demanding accountability, and without this accountability there is no growth. This is needed. This kind of accountability is needed for a justice system. It is still flawed, and Bilkis Bano's fight is acknowledged and is remembered everywhere. Bilkis Bano case became more than just a legal battle. It became a symbol of resilience in the face of unimaginable horror. A reminder that how the machinery of justice can fail the powerless, but also how persistence can bend the machinery towards the truth. Her story is discussed in classrooms, courts, and even international human rights forums. I hope this video and this story inspired you to see and support more human rights organization and charities. I hope we can create a safe space for women in our country so that everybody faces less violence and more resilience, and we get more people like Banu who went through hell but came out like a phoenix, and her resilience and her fight got her the justice that she deserved on the first place. Thank you for watching The Final Light. I'm your host, Soumya Singh, and please like and subscribe this channel. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, every silence hides a story.